This is how you feed your sourdough starter. When you are baking sourdough, you are going to want to have a freshly fed sourdough starter that is at peak rise. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First, you're going to need a clean jar, just like the Made With Loave jar with your little spoon, and your food scale. You're going to want to put your jar on the food scale and zero it out so that it is fresh to add your sourdough discard to. This is inactive sourdough starter that was fed the day before and it is ready for a feed. So we are going to add 75 grams to this jar, and then we're going to zero out our scale again, and we are going to add 75 grams of unbleached bread flour to the jar as well. You could also use unbleached all-purpose flour if that's what you have. Bread flour just has a higher protein content, and sourdough starter seems to enjoy bread flour. So that is typically what we use at Made With Loave. So make sure to get it right to 75 grams, and once you're there, we are going to add our water. Now, when it comes to water, you're going to want to use either bottled spring water, filtered tap water. The type of water that you kind of want to stay away from is purified bottled water, which is reverse osmosis, or distilled water. The reason being is because it does not have the minerals in the water that a sourdough starter thrives on. So we're going to add 75 grams of our bottled spring water here that I just poured into a measuring cup. And once we did that, that is called a 1:1:1 ratio, meaning there are equal parts of starter, flour, and water, and we're going to mix it up. You want to make sure to mix it up completely so there are no raw clumps of flour and everything is incorporated really well together. This is going to yield a thick batter-like consistency. You don't want it to be too runny, but you also don't want it to be too thick to where the ingredients are not mixing together properly. So if you need to add a little tiny bit of water incrementally to make sure that everything is mixed, you can do so. But this is kind of what you're looking for. The consistency is going to be just like this, like a thick muffin batter consistency. So from there, you're going to just place your lid on top. If you're using any other jar, make sure not to screw the lid down. You want to make sure that no pressure builds up in the jar. That is why the Made With Loave jar is perfect for this. And approximately 4 to 8 hours later, you'll notice that it is doubled in size and bubbly. You'll be able to notice bubbles across the top and around the sides of the jar. Depending on the time of year and the temperature in your home, this will vary on the timing of how long it takes for your starter to get to peak rise. So if it is winter time, it could take longer. If it is summertime, it could go a lot faster. Temperature in sourdough makes a big difference. Look at that beautiful network on the inside. And this is what your sourdough starter will look like when it is ready to bake with to put that amazing sourdough recipe together for your yummy bread.